If you love jaw-dropping talent, emotional journeys, and unbelievable moments from shows around the world, then make sure to stick around because what you're about to watch is a roller coaster filled with music, madness, comedy, and one judge who simply refuses to dance. Today's episode takes us deep into one of the wildest auditions ever seen on Britain's Got Talent. A performance so chaotic, so unpredictable, so loud, and so seriously entertaining that it had the entire audience dancing like it was a nightclub at 2 a.m. Well, almost everyone. Because while thousands were jumping, cheering, and vibing together, one man was frozen in his seat, unimpressed, unbothered, and absolutely determined to not move a single muscle. That man, of course, was Simon Cowell. And this is the unbelievable story of how MC Boy turned the BGT stage into a full-blown club, and somehow still couldn't get Simon Cowell to dance. The energy backstage that night at Britain's Got Talent was electric. Contestants were warming up, stretching, vocalizing, and preparing their hearts out for the performance that could change their lives forever. Amidst the chaos, a young man wearing oversized sunglasses, a flashy jacket, and the grin of someone who was way too excited for his own good bounced around the corridors. This was MC Boy. A performer with big dreams, loud energy, and an even louder personality. He wasn't there to simply entertain, he wanted to transform the entire show into a nightclub experience. He wanted to bring something fresh, something wild, something that would make people forget their worries and move their feet. But as he stepped closer to the stage entrance, his excitement was mixed with nerves. He didn't know how the judges would react. Would they understand his style? Would they vibe with his flow? Would Simon Cowell enjoy a performance that practically screamed chaos? Nobody knew. And neither did he. As the stage manager called his name, MC Boy walked out into the arena, greeted by the bright lights and a crowd buzzing with curiosity. The moment he stood still on the stage, you could see a spark in his eyes. He looked like he belonged there. Alicia and Amanda leaned in, smiling, interested. Bruno looked excited. And Simon, well, Simon leaned back with that classic expression that said, "Impress me." So MC Boy smiled confidently and introduced himself. He explained that he was here to make everyone dance, to bring the club to BGT, and to show the world a style of performance they'd never seen on this stage before. The judges exchanged glances, unsure of what to expect. Was this going to be good? Bad? Funny? Strange? Or something completely chaotic? None of them had the slightest clue. As the music started, an immediate shock hit the audience. A massive bass drop. Heavy beats. Flashing lights. And suddenly, MC Boy exploded into action. He started shouting lines, hyping the crowd, jumping across the stage, and moving with a level of confidence that made everyone sit up. The audience erupted. People stood from their seats, waving their arms, clapping, cheering, and laughing. It felt like a miniature rave inside a formal theater. Bruno Tonioli was loving it. He danced in his seat, clapping to the rhythm. Alicia Dixon couldn't stop laughing and grooving along. Amanda Holden had her hands up, moving with the beat. But one judge, the man in the middle, remained perfectly still. Simon Cowell. Simon stared at the stage like he wasn't quite sure what he was watching. The audience amused themselves by looking at him instead of the stage as he slowly blinked, crossed his arms, and gave a half-confused, half-annoyed expression. The contrast was hilarious. Because MC Boy was performing like his life depended on it. He brought energy, he brought hype, he brought chaos in the best way possible. And he brought the whole crowd with him. But Simon Cowell didn't move an inch. If anything, he looked even more frozen as the performance exploded into pure madness. MC Boy kept shouting into the microphone, encouraging everyone to jump, move, and dance. And the audience was loving it. He felt like he was performing at a massive festival instead of a talent competition. His confidence grew with every beat drop. At one point, he even pointed directly at the judges and encouraged them to move along. Alicia laughed and joined in. Bruno stood up to dance. Amanda waved her arms. And then the camera cut to Simon. He did not move. Not a smile. Not a tap. Not a sway. Nothing. It was one of the most iconic BGT moments because the contrast between the crazy energy on stage and Simon's deadpan expression was comedy gold. MC Boy noticed this and decided to take it as a challenge. He wanted Simon to dance. He wanted that reaction more than he wanted the golden buzzer. So he used every trick he knew. He shouted louder. He hyped harder. He pointed at Simon again and again. But each time, Simon sat there like an immovable statue. The audience roared with laughter. Some even began chanting for Simon to dance. But the man was determined. He wasn't going to move. Not tonight. And certainly not because MC Boy was telling him to. The crowd got louder and louder as MC Boy pushed the energy to the maximum level. Confetti cannons fired. The beat dropped again and again, shaking the building. People were shouting. Some were dancing in the aisles. The judges' table vibrated from the sound. It was absolute pandemonium. And Simon Cowell remained still. To understand this moment fully, you need to understand Simon. He's not someone who joins chaos easily. He doesn't dance unless he absolutely has to. And when someone tries to push him, he becomes even more stubborn. So while the whole building felt like a rave, Simon became the eye of the storm, calm, still, and hilariously unimpressed. Finally, after a long, wild performance filled with dancing, jumping, shouting, and non-stop bass, the music cut abruptly. The entire crowd erupted into applause and cheers. MC Boy stood center stage, breathing heavily, smiling proudly, knowing he had created a moment that nobody in the room would ever forget. And then the cameras cut to the judges. Bruno Tonioli was ecstatic. He clapped wildly and told MC Boy that he had never seen anything like that on the show before. He said it was chaos but in the best possible way. Alicia Dixon laughed so hard she had tears in her eyes. She said the performance made her feel like she was back in a club with her friends. Amanda Holden complimented the energy and said that even though it was crazy, it was impossible not to smile. And then Simon spoke. He looked straight at MC Boy and delivered the most Simon Cowell line ever. Something along the lines of, "I have absolutely no idea what just happened, but I know one thing, I am not dancing." The crowd burst into laughter. Even MC Boy couldn't help but laugh. Simon then explained that he appreciated the effort, the energy, and the entertainment value. He said MC Boy definitely knew how to work a crowd. But he also said something surprising. He admitted that although he didn't dance, he understood why the audience loved it so much. The judges voted. And despite Simon's poker face through the entire performance, MC Boy received enough yeses to continue. The crowd cheered wildly as MC Boy left the stage, proud of what he had accomplished. He knew he didn't get Simon to dance. But he did something even more important. He made everyone in that room feel alive for a few minutes. Backstage, MC Boy celebrated. He danced with the crew, hugged his friends, and enjoyed every second of his victory. Interviewers asked him about Simon, and he laughed, admitting that getting Simon to dance might be impossible, but he wasn't going to stop trying. The moment immediately trended online. Clips of the performance spread across social media like wildfire. People commented things like Simon is the final boss of dancing or MC Boy versus Simon Cowell is the battle of the century. What makes this story so entertaining is the contrast. MC Boy didn't have the best voice, the most polished routine, or the most technical skills. But he had passion. Pure, raw, chaotic passion. And sometimes, that's all you need to make a moment unforgettable. His energy was contagious. His confidence was magnetic. And his ability to bring joy to thousands of people in a matter of minutes was something truly special. As days passed, the clip continued gaining millions of views. Reaction channels loved it. TikTok creators used the audio to make funny videos. People joked about trying to get their friends to dance like MC Boy tried with Simon. The performance became an internet meme. And in a world full of serious performances, emotional stories, and heartbreaking journeys, MC Boy reminded everyone that sometimes, talent is about making people smile. Making them laugh. Making them forget everything else for a moment and just have fun. And that was exactly what he accomplished on that stage. But the story doesn't end there. Because once MC Boy made it to the next round, he faced a new challenge. How do you top a performance that already turned the stage into a nightclub? How do you bring even more energy? And more importantly, how do you finally get Simon Cowell to dance? MC Boy brainstormed ideas. He wrote new lines. He mixed beats. He talked with producers. And he planned something even wilder than his first audition. He wanted to upgrade the chaos. Make it bigger, louder, and more unforgettable. But he also knew he had a new goal: crack Simon Cowell's cold exterior. The night of the next performance arrived, and the audience was buzzing, wondering what he would do next. Some people were holding signs saying "Make Simon Dance." Others wore glow sticks. It felt like they were ready for another wild ride. As MC Boy stepped onto the stage again, Simon smirked slightly, almost daring him to try. The music started. And once again, the bass hit hard. MC Boy jumped, screamed, hyped, and delivered one of his craziest performances yet. The stage effects were even bigger this time. Fire bursts, lights, smoke. Everything was dialed up. Alicia danced again. Bruno lost his mind. Amanda cheered. The audience exploded into movement. And then, a miracle nearly happened. Simon almost smiled. And that was enough to send the audience into hysterics. By the end of the performance, MC Boy knew he didn't get Simon to dance. But he got something better. A moment where Simon visibly tried not to laugh. And in some ways, that was a bigger victory. The episode went viral again. Memes were created. People called MC Boy the anti-Simon warrior. And some even claimed that if anyone could make Simon dance, it would be him. That's the magic of these talent shows. You never know what you'll see. Sometimes it's a breathtaking opera singer. Sometimes it's a magician who leaves everyone speechless. And sometimes, it's an MC who turns the entire theater into a rave, while Simon Cowell refuses to dance. In the end, MC Boy didn't become the winner of the season. But he became something else, a legendary moment. A memory that fans still talk about. An iconic clash between unstoppable hype and unshakable stillness. And that's why his audition is still remembered today. Because it wasn't just about singing or dancing. It was about joy. About energy. About the hilarious contrast between a performer who gave everything he had, and a judge who refused to give even a single inch. It was entertaining, unforgettable, and one of the funniest moments in Britain's Got Talent history. So the next time you find yourself at a party, a club, or even at home listening to music, think about Simon Cowell sitting stiffly in his chair while chaos erupts around him. Think about MC Boy shouting for everyone to dance like their life depends on it. And remember that sometimes, the best kind of entertainment is the kind that makes you laugh, makes you move, and makes you enjoy the moment. And that concludes today's story. If you enjoyed diving into this wild and energetic moment from Britain's Got Talent, make sure to stay tuned for more unbelievable stories, emotional journeys, and unforgettable performances from talent shows around the world. Your support means everything. Until next time, keep smiling, keep dancing, and keep enjoying the magic of talent.